Hi folks, Sandro here with More Cartoon News and Shenanigans, and today we're doing a quick review of Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe. Okay, so this is a film that came out on June 23rd, and it did come out on Paramount Plus. So if you're subscribed to Paramount Plus, you could probably just go watch this right now. I think this was a great film. I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but it was definitely something I enjoyed. I usually give these movies a score, or whenever I watch a show or whenever I do these reviews, I give it a score out of 10. I can tell you right now it's above a 5, which is a good sign. So I did enjoy myself with Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe. I know that there's going to be people out there who think that Beavis and Butt-Head are a bit one-dimensional. Like, they have their catchphrase. They have very basic comedy. I'll say that. They make a lot of, sex related jokes. They have their little funny laugh. They have a couple of running gags here and there. It's not going to be for everyone, but I always enjoyed Beavis and Butt-Head as a kid, right? Like, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in I was born in 93, so I grew up in the tail end of the 90s, and I got exposed to like all the best parts of it, right? So this kind of show, I would watch all these kinds of shows: Futurama, Beavis and Butt-Head, Family Guy, South Park, all these different shows. Clone High, which is also getting a reboot. And speaking of reboots, Beavis and Butt-Head is getting a reboot, and this movie ends off with Beavis and Butt-Head being stuck in 2022. So that could be a great segue to bring us in to the new reboot, the new show. So that was pretty cool. We're also got Mike Judge is the creator, and we are also getting a King of the Hill reboot, which possibly might take a like a time skip. They did a really weird plot in this movie where Beavis and Butt-Head go through a black hole and they end up in the future without aging. So they don't age, but everyone else around them ages. All the other characters who are like part of their town and stuff are aged up. I think they mentioned the movie, they go from 1998 to 2022. So most of the other people around them are going to be 24 years older. So that's pretty crazy. So that's probably where the reboot is going to start off at. So this is a cool movie. If you're going to watch the reboot, you got to watch this movie. Like, you have to watch this movie. Unless I'm wrong and the reboot just takes place in 1998 again. I have no idea. But I'm assuming this movie is going to lead right into the actual reboot. So that's that. Just so you guys know, just in case you're wanting to watch the reboot when that comes out, you probably need to watch this film. Okay. So now let's get into it. This film has one of the weirdest yet funniest plots I think I've seen for a while. Like, it's been a hot minute since we got a plot like this. Okay. Beavis and Butt-Head think that they're going to have sex with an astronaut named Serena. Okay. But it was all big misunderstanding, right? They kept so she's an astronaut. Basically, here's what happens. Beavis and Butt-Head, they're at a science fair, and because one of them uses this ball kicking invention, I think it's Beavis, right? Yeah, Beavis gets kicked in the balls so hard that he ends up flying and causing a mass fire and explosion, which possibly burns down their school. It's not exactly clear. I don't think the whole school burned down, maybe just a couple rooms. And they destroyed the entire science fair. So they end up going to jail for that. Juvenile, what is it called? Juvenile delinquents. Yeah, they basically were going to be sentenced to like juvie or possibly even prison. But the judge decides to have a change of heart. And the person who wins the science fair gets to go to NASA. The judge decided, since all the other science fair projects were destroyed, he thought to himself, if these kids go to jail, they'll just always end up delinquents. But if I send them to NASA, maybe they'll correct their lives. I actually liked that. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, the law scene with the judge. What a great scene. That was very iconic. I thought that was a very memorable scene. I loved how they portrayed the judge as wanting to help the children. I really enjoyed that. I really did. You don't see that very often in shows like that or movies like this. Usually they'll just have like a gag sentence where the judge will be like, you're sentenced to jail. And then the movie will just immediately cut to them behind bars, you know. This one was really cool. So they didn't get sentenced to jail, but they were forced to go to summer camp and at NASA. Okay. And while they're there, they meet, you know, the main astronaut. Her name is Serena. She also has a assistant. Was his name Rick? His name might have been Rick or something. And his gimmick throughout the movie is that he's always second fiddle. Nobody takes him seriously. He's kind of like a side character to everyone. So he's kind of like a running gag as a second, not as important character compared to everyone else. So Serena, you know, she's teaching Beavis and Butt-Head and, you know, all these different space things. And then they leave the controls for this one thing. And Beavis and Butt-Head, you know, they see it's kind of like a dick going into a hole. So they use the controls and they become masters. They become masters of sticking the thing into the hole. And everybody realizes it. And they're like, they're so good. They're actually better at it than the adults. So they're like, what if we sent these kids into space to do this mission? It would be a huge publicity stunt. What does NASA have to lose, right? So this is the mistake that NASA made. Meanwhile, Beavis and Butt-Head, they think that they're going to have sex with the main astronaut, Serena, who's a woman. No, that does not, you know, she makes these like gestures, but Beavis and Butt-Head think they're going to score with her, right? But she did not mean them in that way. There was a lot of space sex jokes. So she alluded to certain things, you know, are you boys going to help me do this and put it in? And, you know, so then they're like, oh my God, you know, it was pretty good. It was so good. I like this. So the entire movie is one giant misunderstanding that Beavis and Butt-Head thought that they were going to have sex with an astronaut named Serena, and her name is important. That's why I keep bringing it up. What happens is they end up going up to the space station to make the mission to put the thing in the hole, the robotic piece into the hole. And Beavis and Butt-Head, they end up staring into the sun, and their eyes get burned, and they do the mission. So they go and do the mission, and they fail because they're still blind. They fail miserably, and everything gets destroyed. Kind of like how they destroyed the science fair, everything gets destroyed. And then we have a situation where they only have enough oxygen for, you know, half the crew or like a certain amount of the crew. And basically they need to kill 2 people, right? The astronaut crew isn't really relevant to the rest of the story. They kind of they're only important for like a few minutes and then that's it. But the other astronauts volunteer, and you know, Serena, she's the captain of the crew, so she volunteers to die also. But Beavis and Butt-Head, since they're kind of the ones who did the accident, they end up going into space. Serena gives them like a ring or something. What did she give them? I can't remember. I thought it was like a ring or like her grandma's something. And they go outside. They go outside the ship. I can't remember why they go outside the ship. But they end up going out there. I can't remember why. And so since they're already out there, and instead of sending the other astronauts, she's like, you know what? Beavis and Butt-Head caused this mess. We should probably kill them. So she basically does it. She tries to kill them. She tries to send them away and fling them into outer space. And yeah, they actually, it's funny too, because they actually rotate around a satellite and get smack into the windshield, and then she basically kills them that time when she gets them off the windshield. So they're heading towards a black hole. Normally a black hole would probably destroy all of the matter, but we're going by Planet of the Ape rules, where, you know, you get time travel. So basically they go through the black hole. They have a wacky adventure in 2022. And again, they just keep up the whole gimmick where it's like Serena, the government thinks that they're aliens, so they're chasing them all around. They go around like campus. It's basically, they just get into all kinds of wacky shenanigans in 2022. And one of the things that I found funny was the astronaut's name was Serena. And you know how our phones these days have Siri built in, right? So they don't understand, because they're from 1998. They don't understand what a cell phone is. So when Siri starts talking, they're like, "Oh my god, it's Serena. She wants to score with us," you know? So I thought that was very clever. It was very clever how they named the astronaut Serena. I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that also. And yeah, we got a bunch of the wacky stuff. Beavis and Butthead end up getting sent to jail, and then they're released. And you know, we get the "I am Cornelio." We got a couple of old school catchphrases. You know, we see a couple of the characters from the original show aged up a bit when they drive back to their hometown. One of the things that was very interesting was their mother. In the original show, they never actually mentioned their mothers. We never get to see, so we do hear about their mothers. We never get to see their mothers. And they do mention here that once Beavis and Butthead were presumed dead in space, their mothers sued NASA and they won like apparently millions of dollars. And then apparently both of their mothers did some crazy shit. They actually Beavis and Butthead are using like, I don't know, a wood, no, what's that thing called where you chop up the garbage disposal, right? They're disposing of a bunch of garbage in the sink, and you can't really hear what's going on, like what happened to their mothers, but apparently they won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and then something crazy happened to them and they lost it all. So we don't know. But it was kind of audible, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody on YouTube is able to sort of separate the track, and so we can hear what actually happened to their mother, because it did sound like you were able to make it out. If somebody is able to do that, I don't have the expertise in sound tech to do something like that, but that'd be really cool if somebody watched my video and they actually went and extracted the sound and get like what I want to know, the full story of what happened to Beavis and Butthead's mom. That'd be really cool if someone could actually get that for us. But at least they mentioned their mothers. I think in the previous Beavis and Butthead movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America, we do find out who their fathers are, but we still haven't seen their mothers. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that's basically the whole movie was basically that, right? So Serena, knowing that she killed them, as soon as she sees Beavis and Butt, she's running for Texas governor, and she doesn't want people knowing that she like killed those kids in space. So the entire movie is a race between the government, who thinks they're aliens because they had a weird like cosmic signature, and Serena and that other side character. They're basically all racing to find Beavis and Butthead as Beavis and Butthead are trying to get back to their house, right? And that's basically mostly the entire film. They eventually, at the end, they all meet up together, you know, the government and whatever, and they basically learn that Beavis and Butthead thought that they were going to score with Serena, but she just misunderstood. Like it was just a giant misunderstanding. And they put it all behind them. The government realizes they're not aliens. Nobody actually questions them about the black hole and how they teleported, but that was kind of weird. And we also do see the Beavis and Butthead from an alternate reality where they're like, you know, highly advanced, funny Beavis and Butthead. I think that's what they wanted to call themselves, right? The funny Beavis and Butthead. They were like cosmic beings from like, I guess, the future or something. But I think they said they were from an alternate universe, so whatever. That kind of didn't need to be there, in my opinion. I feel like they could have done this movie without those cosmic beings being in there. But you know, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. In the end, it just had like such a simplistic plot. It was a fun, quick movie. It wasn't like too long. I felt like it flew by very fast. And I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed it. Overall, I think the songs, they did use a couple of songs here and there that were like, you know, not original, but they had a good pick of songs here and there. I don't think they really had much of an original score to go off of here. I'm trying to think what else? So music, the characters were just fine. You know, we did see some inconsistent scenes where like characters' hands would be bleeding, and then in the next scene they were perfectly fine. So there are little inconsistencies which would stop me from giving this a perfect 10 out of 10. But I still really enjoyed it. I still enjoyed some of the wacky jokes. There were a lot of good jokes in this one. I have to say they were well timed out. Some of them were, you know, like I said, more historic jokes, whereas like, I don't know, do you guys think cereal exists like 50 years from now? Some of these jokes might have been in their time between the 90s and 2022 time space. A couple jokes were definitely locked in there and time gated. But for the most part, great film. Just great film. I give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed, like, the animation style felt like you were still watching the show way back in the day, just with a higher quality. And the other thing I wanted to say was the voice acting. The voice acting was surprisingly good. Like, no, everybody was on point. I didn't find a single voice actor that I said, wow, this person is garbage. I thought the voice acting was fantastic. Everybody reprised their roles almost perfectly. I could not tell the difference. Now, granted, it's been a long time since I've seen the 1990 or the older show, but off of my memory, they sounded exactly as I remembered them. So that was great. And yeah, overall, great film. 8 out of 10. I enjoyed the jokes. I enjoyed the plot. Like I said, the entire plot of this is they think they're going to score with an astronaut. And they don't personally get to score with the astronaut, but a different version in a different multiverse does get to score. I think it would have been cooler if they actually got to score with her in the end. That would have been funnier. But I guess they couldn't ruin the plot for the reboot, right? Because then what if they wanted to give like Beavis and Butt-Head a girlfriend in the new show? Then, they'd have to tackle the whole, Serena situation. So I can understand what they were doing there, right? I can understand. This was still a great setup to the reboot. They're now stuck in 2022, and the government fixed their house and put it back to the way it was. So everything is right in the world. It's just all of the older characters are now going to be 24 years older. And so, yeah, I wonder if we'll see like Daria. That'd be cool. I wonder, like, 24-year-old, how old was Daria in the original? I don't even know. Daria would be in her, like, what, 30s or 40s now? That'd be cool to see Daria. I'd like to see some older cameos of older characters. But overall, fantastic film. Fantastic. I would recommend, if you were a fan of the original Beavis and Butt-Head and you like that style, you're going to love this film. If you thought Beavis and Butt-Head was a stupid show that was garbage, you might give this a 5 or a 6 out of 10. I can understand. It's not for everyone. This is not a film that's for everyone, but I enjoyed it personally because I watched this show growing up, so I have nostalgia. And that's going to be it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I enjoyed it. I recommend it if you're a fan of Beavis and Butt-Head. And great little film. Paramount Plus, they're on a roll. They're on a roll. I want to see more of these adult animated cartoon movies. Like, we're getting multiple South Park, right? We've only gotten 4 South Park movies. There's 14. And we've only got 4. So we have another 10 movies to go. And that's really exciting. I want to see other shows. Maybe we'll start getting King of the Hill movies. That'd be crazy. I want to see more of these adult animated action cartoon comedy types of movies. They've been really good from Paramount Plus. And I'll leave it there. Great film. Please like, please share, please comment. Did you guys agree with me? Do you give this an 8 out of 10? Let me know down below. Maybe I'll do a poll during my live stream. I do a live stream every Tuesday. Maybe I'll do a poll and ask you guys, hey, did you like this film or did you not like this film? I'll probably do that. And that's going to be it. So please subscribe. And why not watch an ad for your boy Sandro? Peace out. Bye-bye.